Awesome. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, from wherever you're joining us from. Please let me know if you can hear me. Use the chat. Let me see your responses. Hello. Awesome, fantastic. So we're just going to give some more people time to join in. I know there's some people watching us on YouTube. Hello to you. You're watching us on YouTube. Hello, everyone. It's exciting to be here. Are you excited? I mean, it's it's great to finally get this show on the road, right? Thank you so much for joining us. Fantastic. Let me know where you're joining us from. Oh, well, the chats are just going. Okay, so let me know where you're joining us from. Hello, so that we can meet everybody. Hello, thank you for joining us from South Africa, Canva, Stephanie. Somebody's joining us from Kenny from Nigeria. So just say, just say Kenny from Nigeria or Peace from Accra, right? So that I can easily go through everybody, right? Hi, Joy from Nigeria. Hi from Uganda. Thank you so much for joining us today. Fantastic. It's great to have you all here. Hi, Gina from Zimbabwe. Hi, Anna from Botswana. Are you excited to be here? Just let me see your emojis. Let me know how excited you are to join us today. We are glad to be hosting this session, actually. So, thank you so much. Hi, Debbie from Nigeria. Hi, um, Judith. Hi from South Africa. Hi from Malawi. Thank you so much. Awesome. I can see the excitement. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is Yemisi, and I will be your host and moderator for today. I have my amazing colleagues on the call with me. You're going to meet them very shortly. So like we all know, oh, firstly, congratulations to everyone that has gotten an email to say that has been offered a provisional admission. Welcome, congratulations to you. We're excited to have you join us on this journey. And that's actually why we're having this info session, right? So this is where we're going to take all your questions. So if you've seen the email, maybe you have some questions, you're not sure, some questions regarding maybe the MOU and all of that. We're going to be answering your questions today. So we're going to talk about the MOU. We'll talk about how to accept your admission. You've gotten the email doesn't mean that you have to accept your admission, right, before you can actually begin the program. So we'll talk about all of that and then we'll answer all your questions. So some ground housekeeping rules before we start. So if you're joining us on Zoom, please use the Q&A box. So there's a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Use that to ask your questions, right? Let's just leave the chats for like general comments and all that. But if you want us to answer your questions, please use the Q&A box. If you don't use the Q&A box, we will not be able to take your questions. So that's what it is. And during the Q&A, we might be able to allow some people to unmute to speak, maybe to ask a question, but that's depending on if we have enough time for that, right? So, but if you want us to answer your questions, please. Avila, why is it scary? He says quite scary, but here for it. All right, don't worry, don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid about. Everything is fine. Okay. All right, so please use the Q&A to ask your questions. And please let's keep it respectful. Let's keep the chats respectful, please. And yeah, and then when Blessing or Olabisi, when they're speaking, when they're talking about the MOU and how to accept your admission, I'm going to lock the chat so that we're not distracted, right? So that everybody can listen. And then, but of course, you can always ask your questions in the Q&A. But when they are done, the chat will also now be opened if you have any reactions and all of that. But if you want to maybe put your reactions and all that, you can use the emojis to share that. But when they are sharing important information, the chat will be locked. So yeah, so those are the housekeeping rules. I will introduce my colleagues now and we'll take it on from there. First of all, I will introduce our head of programs, in the person of Blessing Bamidele. I'm sure you've met her before. Maybe you've seen a picture, you've seen a video. Yeah, but she's live with us here today and she's going to be sharing some very important information with us. So please stay tuned for that. and our amiable and wonderful Women Techsters lead, Olabisi Etuk. I'm sure you guys have seen her video. You've seen her, maybe some of you saw her during the interviews. So yes, Olabisi is also here with us. And I'm going to be handing over to Olabisi very quickly to take us further into this session. Hi, Olabisi.
Hi, MC. Thank you very much for that, for that wonderful introduction. So, good afternoon, good morning, everyone, from wherever you're joining us from. This is because we have amazing women from 30, more than 30 African countries, actually, and outside of Africa. And we'd like to say thank you once again for joining today. And of course, congratulations on your scholarship. And as Yemisi had mentioned that this is just the first step, yes, and we still need you to affirm your admission. And she has already introduced me. My name is Olabisi, and I'll be walking you through this information session and what it is all about and what to expect during our time together. I would like to say that this session is actually very critical. It's a critical part of your provisional admission into the Women Texters Fellowship class of 2025/2026. And we designed it such a way that to give you full clarity on what the program entails, the structure, what is expected of you, and how to fully affirm, how to fully accept your admission. And one of the most important things today is the Memorandum of Understanding, that the MOU would explain what it means, your responsibility as a fellow, the steps to take, that's getting the MOU when we send it to you, submitting, filling it in the right way, getting your guarantor, submitting the consent form that will also give you and preparing for your onboarding. And I'll just say that this session would help you make an informed decision about proceeding with the fellowship. We would also take questions just so that everybody is clear on what the next steps are before you move to the next phase. So we would like to say we are so honored. We are so glad to have you do this with us. Would like to walk through this journey with you. And I know that you'll be thinking, oh, when you saw the first the MOU document that we attached to your admission letter, you're thinking, oh, okay, 3,500 US dollars. Don't worry, Blessing is gonna be explaining. She would explain more about that. So I can already see in your mind that okay, $3,500, not even Nigerian currency. How am I going to do it? But don't worry, we are here to just guide you every step of the way and to ensure that you're prepared for what's ahead. Just walking you through for the entire 1 year based off the email that we sent to you. We made you understand that you're going to be having 6 months of your technical training, where you go through a standardized learning curriculum to get an in-depth knowledge of what your technical training is going to be about. And the last 6 months will provide you practical work experience, which includes opportunity on how you can get the best after your training. Would take you through something what we call economic empowerment phase, where we train you on how you can, if you decide you want to intern, or you want to volunteer, or you want to be a freelancer or entrepreneurship. And of course, there's the mentorship part of it. So these are the things we would be speaking to you today, just ensuring that every of our participants gain real world experience and apply this to the new skills that you're going to be acquiring during your time in the Women Texters program. So I'd like to say congratulations once again. Stay tuned, and I'm sure we're going to have a very nice time today. So if you have questions, start jotting down your questions, drop it in the Q&A, and we'll be more than honored to take every of your questions. Okay, I think I would hand over back to Yemisi at this point. Thank you so much, everyone.
Awesome, fantastic. Thank you so much for that walkthrough. Okay, so thank you all so much for joining us once again. In case you're just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the info session for the Women Texas Fellowship class of 2025/2026. But don't worry, we'll explain all that as we go along in today's program. So right now I'm going to be handing over to Blessing. And like we said earlier, there's some groundkeeping rules, like I mentioned earlier, or housekeeping rules. I beg your pardon. So I'm going to lock the chat now for the people on Zoom so that we can all pay attention. And if you're on YouTube, I cannot lock the chat, but let's pay attention so that you already even get some answers to your question when Blessing is speaking, right? So you might already have answers, so you won't need to ask questions, right? So please, let's pay attention. We're getting to the important part of the session today. So I'm going to hand over to Blessing to walk us through the MOU, guarantor signing and the default and all of that. So if you've seen the MOU and you're worried, this is the time to get all your doubts cleared. So handing over to Blessing now. Hi, Blessing. Can you hear us? So Blessing mentioned that she's having some network issues. So I'm hoping that she's able to actually unmute. Hi, Blessing. Okay, so we can
Can you see
see you,
me
but we
and can
cannot
you
hear
hear
you
me?
yet. Okay, fantastic. I can hear Blessing. Please let me know in the chat if you can hear Blessing. Okay, they can hear you. Blessing, over to you.
Okay, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, depending on where you're joining us from. I'm excited to be here. My name is Blessing, and I'm the head of programs at Tech for Dev. First, I'd like to say congratulations to every one of you for being selected to, start the process of the Women Techsters Fellowship Class of 2026. Um, Let me start first by saying that if you are here, you you've been on the journey with us since when the first of application went out earlier in January, and you follow through all of the processes, and that's why you're here. And again, I'd like to congratulate every one of you. Olabisi had mentioned, and I think Yemisi had also talked about it, that yes, you got the admission, admission. That is not the end. In fact, I would like to say that that is where it begins, because the next step is for you to, um, because the next step is for you to review. First of all, the next step is for you to confirm whether you like to accept the admission or you would like to decline the admission. And you probably will be wondering, why would I have come this far only for me to accept, only for me to choose to decline the admission, right? Does not make any sense to you. But we've seen over the last 3-4 years that priorities change for people. At the time when the application started, you probably were free at that time. You had little or maybe nothing doing at that time, and you probably, based off your um based off your schedule, right? You were only able to, you had the time. But as we speak now, you have probably you probably picked up a job with maybe, and I don't want to mention any organization, maybe a fintech, or maybe with a bank institution, or maybe you are working with the UN, any of the UN agency, or any of the European Union agency, and we are very excited and um, happy for you, right? And so, which is one of the reasons why a lot of times people decline admissions, right? So, this call is just to walk you through what the next line of action would be like. And after this call, we would be sharing a form that will require that you confirm your admission based on the outcome of this call. And then for those who says yes, we will then go ahead to share the a memorandum of understanding, more like an agreement document that you have to sign, and that you also have to have a guarantor that would sign it for you, right? And this is very important. This is very important because although the program is coming to you free of charge, it's actually not free. Somebody is paying for it. And because, sorry, and because somebody is paying for it, it also meant that we had limited space and some persons were probably not selected because slot has been allocated to you. So it's going to be very important that if you're taking up the if you are taking up the admission, that you realize what you are going to get into, and also realize and stay committed, to completing, right? Um, so yes, I would be walking you through one of the major things first, because before now or prior to now, one of the areas where we usually will have a lot of feedback around, it's always around the place of the MOU, and people saying, well, I don't have clarity around the MOU. I don't know what to do. Am I supposed to sign the MOU? Am I not supposed to sign the MOU? What if I don't get somebody who is willing to sign the MOU for me? What do I do exactly? So yes, your admission will be incomplete without if you've not signed the memorandum of understanding or the agreement document. As willing as you were or as willing as you are, if you do not have a guarantor who can vouch for you and who is happy to um, also impute their signature within the document, then it is not valid. So as we speak, I'm sure in your mind, you're probably already thinking about who would sign the document for you, right? The best set of persons to help you sign the memorandum of understanding is, as much as we try to discourage family members, but if you know you have family members that you can trust and probably somehow have maybe equity equivalent to if you choose to default and they can help you pay back, then those are like set of people you can give to stand in for you as your guarantor, right? I think, and also before I even finalize about your guarantor, I think the choice of guarantor that you have is always very important. It will be very important that your choice of guarantor is somebody who has your best interest at heart. Your choice of a guarantor will be somebody who is very dedicated and committed to seeing that you start the program and complete it. And your choice of guarantor should also be somebody that you can consider an accountability partner, knowing that there's a commitment from both your end and the person's end as well. And so the person can always, prompt you to or check in on you, constantly asking you about your progress within the fellowship, and also asking you if there are any challenges. Because if you choose to drop off the program, we would be reaching out, or maybe not we, if you choose to drop off the program, our legal team will be reaching out to you and also be reaching out to the individual who has appended their signature on your behalf. And so it's very important that you take all of these things serious, right? The memorandum of understanding that will be given to you would be between Tech for Dev as an organization, between you and also your guarantor, right? When you receive okay, and um maybe I should share my screen. Obviously, would you prefer I share my screen just so that
Yeah, I think you can actually just giving them a glimpse as to what to expect.
okay, so please confirm that if when you can see my screen. Okay, I don't know if you all can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Not okay. Yes, I can see my screen, but please, if you can see a screen, can you just drop? Can you just give it thumbs up if you can see a screen? Oh yes, yes, some people actually raised their hand.
Okay. So if you can see my screen, after this call, you okay, so just so that it can help you, right? We'll be sharing a memorandum of understanding to everyone who confirm the admission, and I mean by confirm by I mean by accepting to say, oh, I would like to start the process of being a Women Techsters fellow. I would like to accept the admission that's been given to me. And so if you say that, then um, share this document with you, right? This is like a memorandum of understanding, just literally guiding what you'll be receiving. On a second thought, I feel like I should not share the screen because I don't want people taking pictures of the screen. Because most of the time people take a lot of things out of context. So I'd rather stop sharing my screen. And if I feel like it's important for me to share a particular area, I'll share that with you. I have a think, uh, and because I know what a lot of people post on social media, so I'd rather just not share my screen. So I just work with it. The memorandum of understanding is between you, Tech for Them, and your guarantor. And whilst we are doing this, right, you'll be required to, you know, ensure that you have spoken to your guarantor, somebody that can stand for you about the fellowship, and also telling the person that there will be a need for the person to sign an agreement. So in case you are wondering, why do I have to sign? Again, the agreement is just a binder to say, I understand what I'm going into. I understand that I am supposed to commit myself for the next 1 year to participate in the Women Techsters Fellowship, which will include first 6 months of technical learning, technical training, technical soft skills training, and then the next 6 months or the last 6 months is economic empowerment phase, which totals 1 year. So the agreement
Hi, Blessing, you're breaking up. Is she breaking up on your end, or is it just me?
No, I think yes, actually. I thought it was my network, but it's not your network. Hi, Blessing, if you can hear us.
Hi, Blessing. If you can hear us, we can't hear you. So it's frozen on my end.
Okay, I think I will just maybe continue
Okay,
from
let me see,
where,
you can take over. All right. So,
yes, I'll
thank
just
you. Yeah.
continue from where she stopped. And sorry, just a minute. Excuse me. So this is just following up what she had mentioned regarding the
I'm
MOU.
back.
And oh, you're back. Great. Over to you there.
Okay, I apologize. I'm currently having network downtime, and I'm trying as much as possible to maximize the time I have. So I mentioned, if you probably could not hear me, I mentioned that I wanted to share my screen just because I wanted to talk about our terms of engagement, just so that you could see it. And after which I'll take that down. Training, right? Training is going to be virtual, however, it is instructor led. So it means that you're supposed to be in class between 10 a.m. West African time to 2 p.m. West African time, Monday to Friday, right? Those are like your original commitments to us. In the past, we've seen, can you hear me now? Please, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, I can. But I feel like maybe because you're sharing your screen, it's also eating up some of maybe you can turn off your video while you're sharing your
Okay.
screen so that we can
Okay. Can you hear me now?
yes.
Great. So I was saying that the training program is Monday to Friday between 10 a.m. West African time to 2 p.m. West African time. It is mandatory for all fellows to be in class, right? Even though it's virtual, it's instructor led. So failure to be in class will be marked absent in attendance. And this is also a we are getting closer, our individual will be getting closer to being penalized, and I'll come to what the penalty would be like, right? We would also support you with all, learning aid. By learning aid, we mean content, curriculum that will be required used for training, slides for the training, support the training. We give you assignments and also require you to submit your assignments. right? Those are like what we're giving, right? In some cases, right, we actively work with job partners to provide internship opportunities to to the fellows, right? This job opportunity is not right. We are not obligated to providing this, and I have to say it again, we are not obligated. However, we are actively working with job partners. We usually will provide job opportunities, sometimes maybe internship, sometimes it could be gigs, freelancing roles. There is always an opportunity for skilling, right? Or there's always an opportunity for economic improvement, right? So but we have some partners that we work with, to provide access to internship opportunities. And also in the past, we've seen the fellows themselves also be the one to see in fact, most of the time, fellows secure internship opportunities for themselves. Fellows secure internship opportunities for themselves and even share other opportunities for their fellow fellows, right? Training again is between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. However, one of the things we've noticed is that after the training, you always be given assignments, right? So in most cases, you will always have individuals who would, want to have extra group reading or group learning with like their, colleagues, so that they can, probably you are not clear about something, or you probably want to do further studies. So that particular one has nothing to do with timing of Tech for Devs program. It is your decision, and it's your arrangement and agreement, right? Um, Everything that I've said for them during the
Hi, Blessing. We cannot hear you anymore. Can you hear me? Hi, Lapisi, do you want to take over from where Blessing stopped?
Okay, thank you so much, Yemisi. So one of the things that she was saying was that for the internship, that we are not under any obligation to offer internship. However, based on the partnerships that we have, we would usually have our partners come to us with requests for certain open role in their organization, which we would share with our community, help them also sometimes prepare for it. But based off this, we always will tell you that you should put your best foot forward. And also, one of the things that I would also be doing for you during the orientation is also holding various sessions also that would help you position yourself in a good light, where from the beginning of your program, you start journaling your journey, you start branding yourself in the way you would like to put yourself. Let's say, for instance, now, by the time you fulfill all the requirements, you get admitted fully into the program. You can, for some of us, I don't know how active we are on LinkedIn, you do a LinkedIn post just around letting people know that, oh, I just got admitted into this program for sort of some accountability sake. I just got admitted into this program. Maybe after the first week of class, oh, this is what you give a summary of what your week has been. You really don't know. People would be following, reading it through. You might think it's not getting enough traction. Over time, we've seen some of our beneficiaries actually get opportunities just from what they post, and prospective employers might just see and reach out to them via, oh, okay, this is what you've done. Would like you to come on board. Would like you to intern at our organization. So these are some of the things that Blessing was speaking to. Just a minute, I just want to. So I'm not going to be sharing my screen. I will just be speaking to us straight. And I know that, oh, immediately we saw the 3,005, we're already calculating, the wheels in the head is already ringing. Oh, okay, how do I come up with this? And Blessing just mentioned this. Yes, it's tuition free. However, we have people paying for it, and we need to be sure that yes, you're going to be serious with this training, or we could equally have given this slot to someone else that would benefit from the program, which is why we have that caveat where you need to honor your commitment to the program. If you're not going to be committed to it, then before you affirm your admission, then you have the choice of affirming the admission, or you just look away, and knowing that once you get into the program, and this is just telling you that maybe if you, for some of our previous alum that have been putting out some conversations around the Women Texas Fellowship, you will find some of them tell you that, yeah, is it going to be tough? Yes, it's going to be. It's going to be like a regular school, university, where you tend to go to your class 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They're going to be tough times. However, you know why you applied for this. When you attended the virtual interview, we asked you, why do you want this? We got some very convincing, responses. Oh, I would like to do this with this. I would like to give back. I would like to do. So all of this reason why you applied should be one of your what's the word? It should be like a driving force for you. So you know you want to get in this program. That's why we are having this session with you, that you really need to know that you want this. Why? Because someone else can actually get this opportunity. And we have that caveat, the 3,500 US dollars, that should you default, you'll be required to pay for it, and you would need your guarantor to fill it. And when we send you the MOU, we have a department that would actually review the MOU, such that, oh, you just sign it shabbishly, and would actually vet every MOU that is going to be submitted. After vetting the MOU, we would then send you the orientation details. So yes, failure to complete the program under the Women Texas Fellowship, the fellow would be required to pay a non-refundable fee of 3,500. And again, this is just to ensure that you complete the program. Would things happen along the way? Yes, but then you are going to be, we want you to be positive towards the program. That's, oh, okay, remember that someone else can actually get this opportunity. And would you get the best out of the training? Yes, you're going to get the best out of the training. Our past beneficiaries would actually have one or two things to say, and you will actually also get to meet them during the orientation. You get to listen to, if you follow our social media, you would see some of the success stories that we've shared. You will see some of them in their own words. Some of our podcasts also, you will hear them speak about the post-training plans, what they've had to do. For some of our program that we would usually have some exclusive program, we invite our beneficiaries, and you would have seen many of these things on our social media. So this is not to scare you, to make you feel, oh, okay, we want to collect your money. No, the program is tuition free, is being funded by an organization, and one of the essence of the Women Techsters is to bridge the gender gap within the tech ecosystem, meaning that's one woman at a time. And when we say one woman at a time, serious-minded women, women from different parts, women from different part of the country. Right now we are in 30 countries. The plan is to cover the entire 54 African countries. We have other people also joining us from outside of African countries, and we want everybody to get the equal chance. So if you know you would not be able to honor your commitments to the program, then would encourage you actually to maybe have a rethink. You should not affirm the admission. I don't know if Blessing has one or two things to add, or network is actually back. Hi, Blessing, can you hear me? Okay, I think Blessing is still experiencing some network issue, but while I'm sure she's going to join in before we finish up, I'm just going to move on to the next part of the agenda, which is the platform that would be using for the learning. your learning is going to be for from September. Actually, your class is your core class. That's the training is going to start from September. And the platform you'll be using is the Women Text. That's the Microsoft Teams. That is where your classes is going to be holding. And for this part, we would require every fellow to create an Outlook email. An Outlook email details around you creating the Outlook email would also hold another technical support session with our technical team where they would walk you through how to create the Outlook account but for some of us that are self-taught, that we know how to navigate our way around creating Outlook accounts, please by all means, and you know that you are going to affirm your admission, you can go ahead with creating an Outlook account. Outlook account is the one that ends with at Outlook account at outlook.com. Sorry. Let's say for instance, I want to create an Outlook account. I'm going to create Olabisi Etsuk at outlook.com. Please, we want you to be mindful. I know that under the Microsoft domain, we have the msn.com, we have the life.com, emphasis on at outlook.com. Please, we need us to take notice of that fact so that when you're creating under the Microsoft domain, you are not creating your name at live.com, your name at msn.com. We want you to create an Outlook account. This is just to be able to add you seamlessly into the platform. All of this also, once you affirm your admission, the technical support session, the technical support team would be walking you through how to go about being added. You're going to be added to the platform. You get an email that, oh, I've been added to this platform, and how you can go about getting settled in your platform. Yes, your name at outlook.com. Thank you so much, Yumis, for dropping that. And also, one of the things between now, let me just walk us through some of the timeline. Between now, we already having the info session. Latest by tomorrow, you'll be getting an email on affirming your admission. So it is actually very, very important that you affirm your admission. We've gotten the first email, quite all right. This is just to inform you that, oh, the application process has ended, and we want you to move ahead with the admission process. And after the info session, latest by tomorrow, you get an email of you affirming your admission. All of that would give you a timeline. We give you a timeline because we understand that, yeah, circumstances happen. You might not get into your inbox on time. We'll give you a timeline that requires you to affirm your admission. After which, once you affirm your admission and we close the form to affirm, yes, it's going to be timed. And once we meet the deadline, we give you a deadline. Once you exceed the deadline, we are not going to be reopening the form. So it is very, very important that once you get any email from us, you go through the email detailed and you read it thoroughly. You look at the deadline, you watch out for deadline. That's why sometimes when you get emails from us, you would find out that we tend to bolding some words. We tend to maybe highlight them in another color. This is just to call your attention that this is very, very important. So we'll need you to read through all of the email. Look out for important dates so that you don't miss those deadlines. Once you miss those deadlines, we're working with the timeline also. So once you miss it, we'll just encourage you to maybe wait for next year, or you apply for another program under Tech for Dev. And after that, we send you an email, as Blessing has said, we send you an email where you can download the MOU, you sign it, you upload your headshots. Yes, we would need your headshots also. This is just to for our social media purpose, to be able to spotlight our next the new cohort, that's the class of 2025, 2026, to spotlight our newest incoming fellows. Then, of course, I mentioned to you that while you think we have committees that are going to actually review every MOU submission. This is why you need to also be detailed. You need to be thorough when you're filling the MOU. We would check for signatures. We would check for your guarantors, knowing that, oh, your guarantor, you put out a number for your guarantors. Calls will be made through to those guarantors to be sure that you actually dropped the right phone number. You actually dropped you didn't drop is it non-fictional? You didn't drop you didn't just come up with a number out of dreaming. We trust you, but then just ensuring due diligence. We are going to be reviewing every MOU that is going to be submitted. And of course, we would welcome you into the program officially after you submit, after we finish reviewing your MOU, would get you started on how to join the orientation, just walking you through what the orientation is going to be about. You're going to have a very well-rounded orientation, getting you familiarized with the platform you'll be using for classes, meeting your facilitator, meeting every support staff that will be working with you throughout the journey. I can see Blessing is back on the call, so I'm just going to hand to her so that we can continue. Over to you, Blessing.
Hi, Olapsi. Thank you. I think you have spoken a lot about the MOU bits. I saw a couple of questions around the MOU, and some other questions. So one question that stood out for me is somebody's asking that they thought the program was self-paced, and then person is wondering why we're talking about live classes. Please, the program is not self-paced. The program is, even though the program is virtual, the program is not self-paced. The program is instructor-led. So it means that between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, there is an instructor in class. And we also expect that all the participants of this program, when you join the program, you'll be a fellow. We expect that the Women Techsters fellow will join the program with their device, because if we are supposed to be learning, we don't do the regular traditional teaching method where the teacher will teach and then give you assignment. It's a practical class where everybody's learning concurrently, right? So you're supposed to join the class with your device, and you're supposed to participate fully in all of the classes. I hope that answers your question, and that also helps you to, and that also informs your decision as to whether you want to accept the admission or whether you want to decline the admission.
Hi,
Sure.
Blessing, are you still there?
Out, and I have to say that again because I know that some persons may have missed out and didn't join on time, right? However, we mentioned that we usually will work with partners, to provide internships. In some cases, internships are cross board, so it's also depending on the partner's location. Sometimes, even though the partner is in a particular country, still be open to hire people from other countries regardless, right? So the internship takes different formats. Sometimes hybrid, sometimes fully remote, and then sometimes fully physical, right? Around $3,500. I wanted to mention to you that the program is free of no charge for trainings. However, if you default on the program, then
Hi, Blessing. You're breaking up.
okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're
Can
back
you
now.
hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the next.
Hi, Blessing, are you still speaking? Olapisi, please, can you take over?
Okay, EMC, thank you so much.
I don't know if you can hear me again.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Great. I apologize for the network glitch. And I want to complete my school of thoughts. This program is free, right? But you need to understand that our programs are tech for dev we don't do I am tired and I want to walk away. Like you can't break up with us, right? It's not a relationship thing that I'm tired, I want to break up because from our end, we are not toxic people, right? And so you cannot just feel like, oh, I started tech. I'm not doing it again. I just want to walk away. Nah, once you commit to starting the program, we would also see ways to support you to start. And the reason is this: statistics have shown it. Women are always the one set of people who want to drop off things when they feel like it's not convenient for them. When they feel like it's not convenient for them, when they feel like, oh, it's hard, I cannot do it. Nobody says that being successful is simple. There's not, I mean, being successful, it's a job. Like it takes commitment, it takes consistency. And we are here to support you, but you can't back out, right? I mean, except you have medical issues, and I should say that, right? Except maybe you have their valid medical reasons, right, that would impair or affect. Can you hear me, everyone? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Blessing.
Yes, Blessing, please go on.
Okay. Except you have medical issues and in this case, we would ask you to request for a medical report from the medical center that you are using. You request for that report, just to be able to validate that. But I mean, why would you start a program and plan to? I mean, I don't think you would probably lie about that. But why would you plan to start a program and then try to use a lie, to because you want to back out? It then shows that you are not the woman you think you want to be, right? And I mean, women are supposed to, we are not supposed to, we're not supposed to allow excuses deter us. Yeah, and that is one of the things we're trying to break that stereotype, that thing that people always think about women and thinking that women cannot be successful, especially in technology. At Tech for Dev, we won't give you room for you to say you want to work out. You can't work out, right? You need to be able to what's the word, give your best. And I believe I've responded to that question. If you say, oh, I cannot afford $3,500, I don't expect, and that's the honest truth. If you add $3,500, then Tech for Dev program is not your program. Because if you add $3,500, it means that you can afford a digital skills program, a kind of program like Tech for Dev is offering you. It means that you can afford it and you can as well go and take the course somewhere else, right? So if you're here, it's most likely because you are probably earning $500, and you have lots of dependencies, people you are working, people that are depending on you, and you're looking to, get the right skill to upskill you, right? So you are in the right place. It is now left for you to say, oh, I can't afford to pay this money. So if I cannot afford to pay this money, it means that I will give it all my best. I will give it the best I can, right? I would, ensure that I start my program and I will ensure that I complete it. In the past, we've had people join us from IDP camps. We've had people who were even chased by hyena start the program and complete the program, right? We've had people, in fact, some persons with medical condition that they never mentioned it to us. Of course, if they had mentioned it to us, we are very empathic. We have empathy. We are the best. I mean, it's the best interest. We have your best interest at heart. But a lot of people just chose that they were not going to mention it to us, and we are going to take, the bull by the horn, to do something for themselves, and they did it, and we're very proud of all of their achievements. Every time I see success stories of people who have gone through our program, gives me goosebumps. Always, right? Always. Somebody says, can you explain the third part of the MOU, the commitment to economic empowerment phase? I mentioned that the Women Techsters program is a 1-year program. However, it's split into 2 phases, right? Or yeah, 2 commitment phase, right? The first phase is the 6 months of technical training and soft skill. And then the second bit is a 6 months of economic empowerment phase. If you complete the technical phase and do not complete the economic empowerment phase, you are not going to graduate from the program, right? Because that's another thing. A lot of people at the end of the day would come and say, oh, I didn't get a certificate. Oh, I completed the program. Oh, at least I joined. I didn't miss attendance. Oh, it's only that I did not commit to this. You won't even get a certificate. I may not now drag you for the $3,500 because you saw it to the end, but because you are not committed, then you will even get a certificate to even show your participation for the 1 year. So please, let's take note that the first phase of the 6 months is as important as the second phase of the 6 months, because within the economic empowerment phase, that's the next 6 months, your class may not be every day, as opposed to during the first 6 months, which is very intense, that you have to have classes Monday to Friday, every day. But on the other end, for the next 6 months, it may not be every day, right? And so you would require your we require commitment of the person, right? So just to wrap up on the MOU bits, right, and maybe go into the Q&A proper, right? When you get the memorandum of understanding or agreement document, right, it's important that before now you have spoken to your guarantor or whoever is going to be standing in for you. If you have a trusted relative, that everybody who is standing in for you must be 18 years and above. It will be nice for you to also be truthful with the person, to tell the person about the commitment attached, right? Oh, if I default, I'm going to be liable to pay this particular amount. And the reason is this, for accountability's sake, so that the person would always check in on you, right? The person will always call to ask you how you are doing, progress you have made, right? Are you experiencing any challenges? We've also had people in the past say, oh, I had to open up to my family members that I'm taking a course. So some of my family members went ahead to, always provide me with internet data to continue to learn. See, it takes a community. You can't do this alone. You need your community for you to be able to thrive, right? I've also had situations where somebody would say, oh, my spouse decided to be my, support me with data. My spouse decided to ensure that when my classes are going on, ensure that the children are fine and I'm fine as well. I should say this is very important, right? I think one key thing I also want to mention is that you can do everything, like actively participate in the 6 months of classes, show up for your classes. You can engage in the 6 months of economic empowerment phase. If you do not give back within the community, then you would also not graduate. So what do I mean by this? We take giving back to the community very important. You attended this program free of charge, right? And so we want you to be able to give back within your community. And so we have a system that encourages that, right? The system that encourages that is we have the Tech Girls Advocacy Drive, where in the course of a particular time, we'll let you know that everybody is supposed to go to their community, identify people within your community. There's usually a specific number of people, a limit. There's always a minimum number you can reach. You can always exceed the minimum, but you cannot go beyond the minimum, right? Number of people you can reach, women and girls, community members, especially women, especially girls. Go to schools, and I don't know if you followed us on social media and you've seen some of our posts. We did a lot of that in the month of March. It's compulsory for all fellows. In fact, not only fellows on our programs generally, it's compulsory for beneficiaries of our program to go back to the community and give back. If you do not participate in this, it would also hamper your graduation, right? Of course, I understand there may be some challenges, which is why we are here, right? We will take justice into our hands if you do not communicate. Again, we are here to serve you. We love you so much. We are rooting for you, ladies, right? But we won't be able to. I like to say this: we are not witches and wizards. And what do I mean? Maybe in the African context, right? We are not yet to reach on to. If you don't tell us, we won't know what's going through. We won't know what you are going through. If you don't even tell us your wins, we won't know what you're going through. And then we usually like to celebrate wins. You're getting married, something is happening, you gave birth. I mean, we call children that are born by our fellows mini Techsters, right? So we're always excited about welcoming our mini Techsters. We're excited about relationships, you're getting married. We want to support you. And if you're here, maybe you are a student, you probably have exams, and you are looking for, and maybe it's that period, there's also something else going on within the program. I'd like to mention this. We prioritize our program as much as we prioritize every other thing that you do. But that being said, we always try to see how we could provide support to you, right? Because, I mean, during your interview phase, there was a question around how do you intend to manage the program's intensity? And you are here because you are committed to the fact that regardless of what happens, you will make it happen, right? So that being said, we are here to support you. If you let us know, we'll see how to support you. But if you don't let us know, then there are rules that govern the program. remember it's free, right? And because it's free, they have to put in a lot of measures to ensure that everybody start and everybody, right? The program, I also understand that because there may be network glitches here and there, right? Every of the classes are will always be recorded so that you can always make reference to, right? But we expect that you are supposed to be in class. We expect that you're supposed to be in class. The recording is just for reference, going back to review it. And if you are wondering, oh, what attendance rate do I need to have for you to graduate? Attendance rate is 95%. You must have 95% before you are able to graduate. So you see that the program is very serious. The facilitators on the program are being paid. Like it is, and again, when it is free, it's only free to you. There's a lot of resources that is going into this program. A lot of resources going into this program. And so we want you to be able to commit yourself as well for success. I believe that I have spoken intensely around the MOU, right? And how you should sign. Please tell your guarantor the truth about the program you're going into and tell your guarantor the best ways to support you. You can't do this alone, right? So even when you start, tell your family members, tell your spouse, tell your siblings, I'm in a program that requires motivation. I'm in a program that requires your support for me to be able to complete. I'm in a program that requires accountability. Please be my accountability partner, right? Even on the program, we have a lot of accountability mechanism. When you join, we have support system. We have groups for mothers, pregnant women. We have groups for people who are working. We have groups for students. We have groups for people within inter-countries, so that you can always discuss what are you doing, how are you doing what you are doing. There'll be meetups at some point or the other. Most of the time, I always organize even by the fellows themselves, right? There's a lot of support system. You have questions. How do I juggle? I just got married. I'm pregnant. How do I juggle my class? Oh, maybe I have this coming out. Whatever it is, I just need help. Let me know. We are here to support you, right? The facilitators are trained, amazing people there to also support you. There's also if you sign up on the program, there would also be, because we are also building your leadership skills, right? So we would also have individuals among you, what's the word? But maybe indicate to, become either the class governor, for lack of better word, there will be the vice class president, there will be assistant class president, there will be the overall, like, that will be conducted to build. I mean, all of these things it's an holistic program. It is it's one program in the kind, like one that you cannot think of, right? That will constantly happen. All right, I'm done, PMC, and I don't know if there are questions.
Hi, Blessing. Thank you so much for walking us through that. I don't know, Olabisi, would you like to go through the information you want to pass first before we ask
Everybody hear me?
the questions, or should we ask some questions, take some questions now, and then you go through the information you want to pass across?
Yeah, let's take the questions first.
We should take some
Yes, let's
questions
hear
first.
you. Yes, please. So
Okay,
that some
so
person can answer some.
okay, great. So let me just try to say, okay, so there's someone, okay, so this is sort of like related to the MOU and the default. So I think we can just quickly take that. So this person has a lot of questions. But somebody is asking what counts as a default under the MOU? And what about emergencies, like maybe illnesses or tech issues? How are those things handled? Is there a formal way to report emergencies or unavoidable absences? So those are the major two questions.
Okay, so what counts as defaults? Can you hear me, EMC?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So what counts as defaults under the MOU? I think I've mentioned what counts as defaults, right? You are supposed to, default is you do not join classes, right? Your attendance, you're not participating in class, you're not submitting assignments, right? That's a default, right? You're not attending the class, there are scheduled meetings, you're not participating in it, right? That's a default, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
even when the learning phase is over, you do this. That's also another default, right? Those are like major defaults that it's like you're not gonna. I mean, you're at the point where you want to start speaking with our legal team. And the legal team, I mean, I don't want to loud this, but I just feel like we are not supposed to get to the point of the legal team at any point in time. That's the honest truth. If you know why you signed up for the program, and if you're very keen about learning, then we should not even get to that point, right? It's not even about whether can I afford it or can I. If I cannot afford it, then it means that I should give it my best. So what would be a default? Default is you are not participating in class. You sign the MO, you are not participating in class. You always have one excuse or the other. There's always one reason or the other reason. And you are not communicating, right? In the case where there's even an emergency, you are not communicating. That's a default.
So how do they communicate? How do they inform you when there is an issue that they need to report?
So when you join the program or when you officially sign the MOU, right, we're going to give you emails where you can report, right? And again, I mentioned that as part of leadership, as part of what we are doing is we are building your leadership skills. So when the program starts, they will also nominate and select our leaders who will serve as liaison officers. So you will have 1,000,001 people you can always reach out to. You can always reach out to your facilitator or the instructors. You can always reach out to your country rep. You can always reach out to your class rep or your assistant rep. You can always reach out to even your book reading rep. There are a lot of people you can always reach out to, just to say, this is what I'm going through and this is how I'm going through it. And there's an email. You can always send your emails, to us and we can respond to it. And about emails, right, I should say this, that there are tons of emails that always come in every day by day, right? So emails will always be reviewed on a rolling basis, right? So you cannot expect to send an email now and you expect that an email will be responded to you in 5 minutes, right? Imagine everybody sending an email and we have to look at the emails, except you want bots to respond to you, which I mean, there are some generic responses that you get, but most of the time for you to get to the point where you're sending an email is because it has, you have reached the brim of the situation, right? I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, thank you for answering that, Blessing. So I just wanted to touch on this quickly. I've answered this in the chat to some other people in the Q&A, but I'll just quickly mention it. So somebody's asking the weekly time commitment. Classes start Mondays to Fridays every day, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time. And then for everybody asking if they can manage it with other responsibilities, maybe their schoolwork or their maybe work if you're employed at the moment. So it's a personal thing, right? It's all about balance. We've had fellows who have been able to successfully manage being a part of the fellowship and then also working at the same time or being in school, right? So it's dependent on so you need to weigh your availability, right? How are you going to be able to balance and maybe create a schedule or a timetable that works for you? We're here to support as much as we can. The classes are recorded, so you can always go back to the classes, but it's important that you at least show up in some of the classes because it's instructor-led, right? And the beauty of having an instructor-led training is that you're able to be a part of class, you're able to ask questions, somebody's responding to you immediately, right? As opposed to self-paced where you're just trying to make sense of the material as you go, right? So you need to figure out how you're going to be able to balance that. We're not saying leave your work or don't attend your school classes, right? But it's a personal thing. How are you able to balance everything? How are you able to juggle it, right? So that's what you would need to evaluate, right? So thank you for that question. I hope I've been able to answer that. So when will the program start? September, we already mentioned that. How do I accept the admission? Olabisi will walk us through that shortly on how you can accept your admission. How would your guarantor sign? Your guarantor, so we'll share the MOU and then there'll be a space for the guarantor to sign. So you just need to share the documents with the guarantor to also put in their signature. So that's it. Please, can you explain the third part of the MOU? Okay, so we have a lot of questions about the economic empowerment phase. Do we want to take that question now, or do we want to pause for that until when Olabisi is speaking?
We can take the questions on the economic empowerment, please.
All right, so can you just shed some light on that and what does commitment in that phase look like?
So I think that I've spoken about it. The program itself is for 1 year, right? It is 6 months of training, technical, soft skills, and in fact, it's 1 year of training, but it's just like segmented into two. There is the technical and soft skills, and there is an economic empowerment phase. Now, the economic empowerment phase is that we realize that in the course of the training, and this is over time, in the course of training, we realize that a lot of people always have questions around what's next after, if I've been skilled 6 months, like if I've gone through a technical skill, what's supposed to be the next thing I'm supposed to be doing? And that was what bettered the economic empowerment phase. Within the economic empowerment phase, people would have the opportunity to, either participate in one or all. Like, so either you are going to be learning about how do, like, for example, you made up your mind that you want to do internship, you want to go into it, you want to take a proper job. So you want to learn about internships and maybe working within a space, like what is it? Or maybe for you, you made a decision that you don't want to work in a sec, as it were, you want to be a tech entrepreneur, right? So that's another angle, right? So in the 6 months, if you chose either the normal pathway of jobs or you chose pathways of entrepreneurship, there will be trainings that are also virtual, however, instructor-led, that will be happening within that 6 months, right? So if you chose internship way or the proper job way, then you get a lot of trainings related to internship, volunteering, job, like entry-level jobs. What are things that will increase my chance of selection, volunteering, a lot of things, right? And if you chose the entrepreneurship phase, right, you also be getting a lot of things around who is an entrepreneur, how does entrepreneurship start, right? What are the roadmaps or the documentations that helps an entrepreneur? You would be for any sector you pick, you would interact and engage with experts in those fields, right? Who would, actively contribute their time to ensuring that the entrepreneurship job that you say you want to do is not just a job, but it's a reality. Like whatever area you feel like you want to delve into. For people who are looking at fundings, they can always tell you these are opportunities for fundings, these are places, programs you can apply for fundings, right? These are, legal documentations that you need, policies that you require, everything. But it's just that there's a segment for it because we didn't want the distractions at the beginning. So we decided to ensure that we complete the first level of training, which is like 6 months of technical training, and then now leave you for the other 6 months bits, right? So one of the things that always happen after the 6 months of technical training that sometimes you find out that some persons, please, can you still hear me? Please, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So one of the things that we find out is that after the 6 months of technical phase, a lot of people sometimes secure jobs within this 6 months of the entrepreneurship phase, right? In that instance, right, we always try to resolve the matter on a case-by-case basis, right? We understand that it's our joy that you have a job, right? We then try to see how can we make these things flexible for everyone. Again, I'd mentioned that during the entrepreneurship phase, that's the other 6 months, as much as the first 6 months of technical phase is a daily training, for the last bit of the 6 months, sometimes you can have sessions maybe 3 times a week, in some cases, maybe 3 times a week, sometimes, depending, 3 times a week. In some cases, it could be a weekend just because of the facilitator, but we would always notify you ahead to say, oh, for this particular class, this is the reason why. Remember that we always want to give you the best. And sometimes giving you the best may mean that we try to see how we can be flexible even for the instructor that is going to be coming on board to have our session. So I don't know if this explains the economic entrepreneurship phase. The program is a 1 year, but we just want to let you know that you cannot choose one part over the other part. It's a continuum. It's like it is a collabo. That's the best word. It's a collabo. Thank you, MC.
Awesome. Thank you so much for answering that, Blessing. I hope that is clear now. So the EEP, the economic empowerment phase, is more like a support. So we're giving you support in whatever area that you're choosing to go through. If you want to volunteer, if you want to get internships, freelancing, if you want to start a tech business, right? So that's it. That phase is where we mentoring as well. So that phase is where we provide all manner of supports that you will need, resources and all of that to help you get through that. So I hope that is clearer. And there's a question here that someone is asking, that their guarantor is, so Pacific Musunga is asking that my guarantor is requesting for an email address they can use because they have some inquiries. Are you able to give me one? Let's see now, Olabisi, who wants to respond to that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. So your guarantor can send an email to the Women Techsters Fellowship at the same email that you used to get the admission. The guarantor can send an email to that particular email, right?
Um,
And
Blessing, can you mention the email so that I can easily just type that?
I don't know it's in full, so I was trying to
Okay,
mention it,
so
but I decided not to mention it. But the email
okay,
that you
so you can
used to
just
get,
type it to me and I'll share.
Olabisi, please, can you leave the Women Techsters email like in the chat so that people can see
Or
it? You
let me
can
see
send
if you
an
can type that in the chat, please,
All
so
right,
that we
sure,
can share
sure.
that.
Well,
Thank you.
yes, definitely. But the email, I mean, the email that you got your correspondence from, but I'll still drop it anyways.
All right, thank you. Okay, someone is asking, are we going to get to have something like an admission letter sent as an attachment? Olabisi, did you get that? Someone is
Yes,
asking
yes,
if
I
they're
got.
getting,
Yeah,
okay,
if they're
are
going
they
to be
getting
getting,
an admission letter
so you'll be
sent as
getting
an
an email.
attachment?
No, you're not going to be getting one as an attachment. You'll be getting an email that states that, oh, you have been officially admitted into the Women
Okay,
Texters.
Olabisi will share more information about that when she's speaking. Someone is asking if they can change.
Hi, MC, can you hear me? Okay. MC, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I lost you for a minute. You were asking, somebody said if they can change, then that was where you
Yes,
stopped.
if they can change their learning track. Can they change their
No,
learning track at this point?
no, no, they can't
Okay,
change their
so
learning
for
track.
everybody
Single class.
asking, you can't change your learning track.
Yes, please.
Um, when is class starting? Class is starting in September. We already answered that. I believe we already answered this question, Ogochukwu. She's asking if one misses a class due to unforeseen circumstances, they defaulted. No, that's not what defaulting means. We've answered this extensively already. How can we accept the admission? Olabisi will share that when she's speaking. That's the part that is coming up next. In the event that one defaults from the fellowship, is the 3,500 that is default once-off payments wanted in full or in installment payments? Uh, can anybody answer this question? Are you hoping to default? Anonymous attendee, I don't even know who asked
I'm
this
going to laugh
question.
at that.
Like,
Yes. Blessing,
why are
can you
you asking?
respond? What are you
When,
asking?
when this happens, if in the event that you default, then the legal team will be in touch and then you can work out what that payment plan will be like. Because
Yes.
I don't know why you're asking this question, but all right. Okay, so when are we attending the class? Do we
Sorry,
have
let
to
me see.
report
I
them?
think I also need to ask. I know it looks like a whole the money is literally overing above our head, but
Mhm.
when you were applying, and for some of the essays that we read, for some of the responses that we got during the interview phase, it was looking like we really
Mm.
wanted it. It was something that we wanted to do. And again, the if some of us did our due diligence in researching about what Women Texters does is we are trying to bridge again the gender inequality gap. You applied because you wanted that economic you wanted that economic what's it called you want to increase your economic livelihood. Yeah, that's one of it. You want to make your mark in the tech ecosystem. You applied because you wanted this. Yeah, the money looks like, oh, it looks a lot, but you applied without the intention of you dropping off, right? And if you already mapped out your plan, okay, this is how I'm going to be attending my class. This is the time I'm going to dedicate. And yes, life happens, things are going to happen. Blessing mentioned people that were in the program with medical conditions that they were still attending their classes. We had people from IDP camp She literally was taking her class on top of a tree. She knew she wanted this, and guess what? She was one of the best graduating students from class of 2023, if I'm actually right. So you applied because you wanted this. I mean, we all went to university at one point or the other because maybe one lecturer, I mean, you would have had the episode of maybe a mean lecturer or maybe a very difficult class, a difficult course. We did not because of, oh, this class was very difficult. I'm not able to wrap my head around this. You decided to give up. Or maybe because you were paying for that one, you had to pay school fees and everything. So you knew you had to give it your best shot, which is why we would, as much as possible, you are applying for this because you wanted this. And we are not going to force you that, oh, yes, you have to go through the training. At the same time, we want to be sure that you really want this. If you know you are not going to be able to go through with this, there are 1,001 people that really need this opportunity. There are people that they're looking to upskill, they're looking to better themselves because they really don't have this opportunity that you have just gotten. So maybe the money should not be, you didn't apply because you wanted to drop off. And we don't have quitters under the Women Techsters program. We have community of women that are already doing amazing things. One of the things you'll be enjoying in the program, like Blessing mentioned, was that you would have community of women that will be encouraging you. Would have cluster groups of entrepreneurs, of working women, of stay-at-home women. You would have a category that you can fit in. Would have community by regions that you can relate with people in your region, people in West Africa, people in North Africa, whatever part of the region that you fall under. You would have people that you can literally relate with. You'll be having office hours where you would have you can meet with your facilitator. It's an instructor led, so you have the opportunity to ask questions in class. Maybe you don't understand any gray area, you have opportunity to raise your hand in class, ask your questions respectfully. So I mean, that $3,005 is just ensuring that you know what you want. Not that you just come out of the blues, you wake up and you say, you know what, because I'm not paying for this thing, I don't think I want to go ahead with the class again. No, we are not going to encourage that. We want someone that is not a quitter. We want someone that is ready to give their best shot. We want someone that wants to make their mark in the tech ecosystem, that we want a community member that we would be proud of, that we can spotlight. So I think that's enough of my TED talk. Over to you, Yemisi.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. I mean, Olapsi has said it all really. So there's a question here about, is there like a minimum class attendance that they need to hit to be able to graduate?
I've answered that question, James. I said 95%.
Right. So you need to have at least 95% class attendance for you to be able to, graduate from the program. Someone asks if they need to turn on cameras when they are in class. Not necessarily. I mean, you need to also conserve your network bandwidth and all of that. So you don't necessarily have to turn on your cameras. I think we
If
have
they are
answered this.
asked to turn it
So
on, then they
if
have
your
to turn.
facilitator, if your instructor asks you to turn on your camera, please go ahead and do that, right? So whatever is happening in your class part-time is what you also need to do, right? So whatever instruction that your instructor gives you, please ensure that you abide by that. If you're not able to turn on your camera at the moment, you can just respectfully maybe drop it in the chat to say why you're not able to do that, right? So please be respectful to your instructors when they are giving you instructions. Yeah, so how many sessions? I think we've answered this already. For everybody asking about if they're students and how they're going to manage the fellowship and that, or if you're asking if you're working, or how will you get money for data? I've seen some questions like that. Like we said, we're not asking you to quit your job, and we're not asking you to stop going to school. It's a personal commitment that you have to make. And also just knowing what you're able to take part-time. Can you balance everything? So this is a time for you to think about it critically and look at it properly. And then for the people asking about the fact that they can't afford the money, I think Olabisi already mentioned that we're not asking you to pay to start the program. right? But while the program is free, Blessing already mentioned this, a lot of resources goes into actually you being able to participate in the program, right? So we need to give it your all. That's pretty much just what we are trying to say, right? Are there exclusions for failure to complete? Okay, we've answered this already. Are internships paid? Again, I think Blessing mentioned this. We're not offering internships, right? So we're
I've even
giving you all the
responded to the
support you
question.
need.
I have responded to
Aha, so
I
all
have
right. So
responded to
please,
the question.
that question has been answered already. How do we fully accept the admission? Olabisi will speak to that shortly. Okay, yeah. So pretty much, I think we can move on to the next session, the next phase of this program where Olabisi just shares your admission, how you can accept your admission, and all of that. So, Olabisi, over to you.
Okay, thank you so much, Yemisi. And I think first thing first, I would say is that we are not requesting, please. And I think it's very, very important that we emphasize on this. We are not asking you to pay a dime, please. A dime. Maybe our digital media say maybe you want to take this part of it. We are not requesting it for you to pay a dime. Our programs, all of our program under the Women Techsters initiative under Tech for Dev is tuition free. It is usually tuition free. So we're not asking you to pay a dime. However, we are telling you that you're making a commitment into the program. So you already know beforehand. That's why right now we gave you a provisional admission that we have invited you, oh, these are the requirements. Failure to complete the program. That is what we're saying. So nobody is asking you for any money. For you to be a successful Women Techsters Fellow, you need to cooperate with Tech for Dev during this period. You need to successfully complete the training under the Women Techsters Fellowship. You when we give you the MOU, would also need you to provide relevant information, like detailed and correct information, which is why I emphasize that we have a department that will review all of this MOU that you would submit. So we are not requesting for you to pay a dime. Our program, again, is tuition free. It is completely free because we have people that are actually paying for it. So we need you to be committed. We need to be sure that as a successful Women Techsters, you're going to abide by the rules and regulation of the Women Techsters program. You are going to be committed. You would follow the terms and conditions. You're going to thoroughly read the MOU that is going to be shared with you. And Blessing already mentioned that 75% of class attendance. You would have your weekly classes. You're going to work on a monthly project. That all of these projects is something that you can put together and create a website or create a link such that when you start putting yourself out there on LinkedIn, that this is what I am currently doing, this is what I'm currently learning. Those are your mini portfolio. Those are the things that you can show to prospective employers that, oh, this is my work. We've had people that before the end of the program, they are already getting internship opportunity. We have people that got scholarships for advanced learning. So we are not asking you to pay a dime. However, failure to complete the program under the Women Techsters would attract a non-refundable fee of 3,500 US dollars. So we are not asking you to pay a dime. However, as a Women Techsters Fellowship, I don't know why I'm emphasizing this, but just so that you don't get the wrong information. We've received email in the past of someone saying, oh, I was asked to pay a certain amount. We do not want a dime from you. However, if you default in your obligation, our legal team will serve you a notice that would require you to pay a non-refundable fee of 3,000 US dollars. Okay. So that being said, thank you again for that. I just thought I needed to emphasize on that. So for the timeline between now where by tomorrow you will get the email with the affirmation form. I would also state the timeline there. It is very, very important. Please, in everything that you do, please ensure that you always meet up deadline that we give to you. This is just to help also move fast in the admission process. We give you a timeline. From tomorrow is the 26th, so from tomorrow till the deadline date that would be in the email that will be shared, please ensure that you work with that timeline. Affirm your admission. We don't want the case where after the deadline you're sending emails, oh sorry, I'm just seeing it. No, that would not, we're not going to encourage that. One of the things that we also pride on is that we have community women that are very proactive, community women that can stand anywhere. The things that we're teaching you now is also going to help you in the proper workspace. I mean, your boss cannot send you an email and your boss is getting responses after a week. We don't do that here. We have soft skill trainings that you would also be partaking in. Soft skill training is, we give you the technical part of the training that's in your learning track that you've chosen. We would also give you soft skill training. These are the trainings that would help or mar you in the workspace, how you should behave in the workspace. Should you get an internship opportunity? Should you get a freelancing gig? This is the way you should behave. This is how you should position yourself, how you can build your clients, how you should position yourself in the best light, essentially. So we'll share the admission affirmation form with you. Please fill the form. After the window for filling the form has closed, we will then send you an email. The email would have a link where you can download the MOU. You can either download it and e-fill it, you e-sign it. For those that will be using their system, you can make use of PDF filler, you can make use of Adobe, you can make use of whatever platform online that can help you sign your MOU electronically. Or you can go through the route of printing it out, sign it, have your guarantor sign it, then you scan it back and upload it. You scan it and upload it in a link that we'll also share with you. So this is what the email is going to look like. We'll send you an email with a link. Oh, this is the link. Download your MOU. After you download the
Hi,
MOU and you
Olabisi, are
do
you
it.
there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me? Yemisi, can you hear me?
Yes, you're back now. Yes, you can
Oh,
go on.
great. Oh, I'm back now. Sorry, please. I am. At what point did you lost me?
So you mentioned that if they want to go through the scanning route, they can scan the
Oh, okay.
document,
Okay,
sign,
yes.
have their guarantor sign, and then upload. But that was where we stopped hearing you.
Oh,
So maybe
okay,
you want
okay,
to.
okay, yes. So I said if you want to go through the old-fashioned route of you printing it out, sign it, you then scan it, and you get the link also where you would upload it. So what the email is going to look like is you would have an email that says, oh, would like you to affirm your admission, would like you to consent to the fact that you're ready to take the classes. We share a link where you click on, you download the MOU. So you can download the MOU on your system, like I said, and doing it virtually, or you download and print it out and sign it manually and upload it. Also, still in the body of the email, you get a link where you can now upload back. You upload back the MOU that has been given to you and a headshot. So what the headshot would also give you, will also give you like a steps on how you can also upload the headshot, the kind of headshots that we want also. We'll tell you, oh, this is what the headshot is going to. So for the headshots, we just need the headshots to be able to include it in your orientation booklets. If we want to spotlight you as the incoming fellow of the Women Techsters, we want to promote your academic achievement. Let's say for the first 1 month of your learning, after your result for 1 month has been collated, we would spotlight you as oh, this person is for the first month of the training, oh, this person did so well. So just for the purpose of the program, would require your headshot also. In the email, we'll just give you like some guideline on how to upload your headshots, a clear background, the kind of headshots that you would use if someone is asking you for a passport. So you would require to get the link would give you the opportunity to download. You'll be able to sign it. Either you sign it online, or you sign it manually, where you print out, sign, then scan and upload it in the link that we are going to give to you. And I also mentioned that would require you to open a what's it called, an Outlook account. Yemisi already dropped what that is going to look like. I said your name at Outlook account, outlook.com, not your name at live.com, your name at msn.com. Would also hold an info session. That's a technical support session for those that would not be able to create an Outlook account themselves. So those are some of the things that would walk you through also. After which there's also going to be a timeline where you get to upload the MOU, your headshots, after which we are going to review all of the MOU that has been submitted to be sure that everybody did their due diligence. After that is done, then we start walking you through the orientation. Then we hold an orientation. The orientation, the tentative date for your orientation is between 18th of August to 29th of August. And like I said, learning is going to start 1st of September. That's on a Monday. Your classes would officially begin 1st of September. You would add you to class all of the period after which you affirm your admission, you sign your MOU and hand it over back to us. We are going to be holding technical support week with you, just familiarizing, adding you to your class, familiarizing you with your class, meeting your facilitator, networking with your fellows, that's your fellows that you would be with in your learning track across your region, across the different support group that you have. Would also have elections. We'll have election where we are going to select your class governor by your learning track, then overall class rep also that would be like a go-between. So if you have any issues, you speak to the person. The person would also mention to us. So you don't have to go directly. So if, for instance, you have any problem, your class rep, you make sure that you go through your class rep. So we're already creating like a channel where every of your challenges, any problem that you think you might encounter, we're going to have like a proper leadership where you go through the leadership. The leadership will then escalate it to us, just so that we are able to get everybody's information, so everybody's complaints. So if you have every complaint, once you are in the program, you would take it to the leadership of that the leadership that you're going to be selecting your class reps yourself. There's going to be an election. The people that wants to hold office, they are going to there's going to be like a, not campaign per se, but they are going to show you they are going to send in their manifestos. You read their manifestos. You by yourself, you are going to select your class governor via your learning track, and also overall leadership for the class of 2025. And please, I need to also say orientation is compulsory. Like there's no two ways around it. Orientation is very, very compulsory. Okay, yeah. So I already mentioned that, yeah, classes start, orientation very compulsory. Your class is going to be starting 1st of September. I see a question around, in the case of death, will your guarantor still pay? Abba. I I don't think that should be a question, because I mean, we already mentioned that in exceptional cases, and we also, I think Besson also mentioned this. This is a very, very sensitive, a very sensitive topic, that we understand that life happens and we are here to help you every step of the way, which is why it is very, very important that you communicate with us. You cannot be on, and we do not pray for this, but let's just say worst case scenario, you're in the hospital. Of course, we don't expect you to be taking your classes from the hospital. We're empathetic. We want your progress, and that is why we have this program in the first place. So in the case of death, I mean, we would even we've had the last class, that's the class of 2024. We had someone that it was towards the end of the program actually. She battled with cancer, and she didn't make it. We still acknowledge during graduation, the best graduating students actually acknowledged her. We did like a 1-minute silence for the person. We spotlighted the person's picture. And this is just to show you that why not, maybe not using the word love, but we we look out for the best in every of our beneficiary, which is why it would be a sad thing to see that, oh, you come into this program with all energy, with all vigor, and towards the end, you now say you want to drop off for a very flimsy excuse. Oh no, we are not going to accept that. So except in the case of death, yes, I mean, that is very valid. In the case of, oh, you are having to battle with life-threatening issue, I mean, life happens. So please, I don't think that should even be a question. We are not evil. We love we love everyone and we want the best for you. We want to be able to get more women in the tech ecosystem. That's what the Women Techsters is for. That's what Tech for Dev as a whole represents. We have community of amazing women. If you're I mean, part of the people that interviewed you, they were from the community. And maybe I should just say this. One of them was actually while they were interviewing you, gave birth. She was actually having an interview when she went into labor. She was interviewing some of you when she went into labor, just so that to show the commitments, to show the love, to show the close-knitted family that we run in the community. So I just thought to mention that. And yes, orientation is very compulsory, please. Can we get the rules and regulation that governs the fellowship? Once you get into the fellowship, we during the orientation, you'll be getting a handbook that just that shows you everything that you need to do, the expectations, everything that's going to be governing the fellowship essentially. Enlighten us on the part where you said we have to go to schools. So if you follow our social media very, very, very well, in the month of March, Blessing spoke to this. We had something that we call the Tech Girls Drive. That is part of the program under the Women Texters. We go to the community and we talk to young girls. We talk to young girls about the opportunity. We disabuse their mind about, oh, girls can't do STEM. Girls are not supposed to be in STEM. They cannot multitask. So that is where the community comes in. So for the one that we did in the month of March, it was actually spearheaded by our community members, past beneficiaries from the program. We had people from different parts of the world actually partake in this community outreach. They went to schools, they went to communities, they went to religious grounds, religious settings. So you can do schools, you can do communities, just essentially where you have access to young girls within the ages of 8 to 18. Then there's someone saying, are we getting a laptop? We never, nothing in our conversation, nothing in our communication spoke to someone getting a device, which is why when we're asking you, when we're doing the interview, we intentionally kept those questions for the virtual interview that you had, where we were asking you, do you have and I remember specifically, the question was, do you have a device or you have access to a device? There is a difference between you having a device and having access to a device. You having a device is you own a device that you can use. Having access to a device is, oh, I have someone with a device that can lend it to me for the period of my class. Let's say the person would allow me use it from Monday to Friday between the hours of my classes. So it is very, very important. Nothing in our communication actually said we were going to give you a device. Nah, nothing. I have an Outlook account. Can I use that? Yes, please. If you have an Outlook account, yes. What do we do if our device gets spoiled during the fellowship? Please, by all means, fix it. If your laptop gets spoiled, please find a way to fix it. And while you're fixing it, I mean, you can always be taking your class. We do not encourage you using your phone, but I mean, life happens again. But should your device spoils, get someone that has it, maybe just get a backup. Get a backup. That's all I can say. Get a backup. You have exam for the first week of September. First 3 weeks. Oh, and those are like, sorry, excuse me. So I'm sure you're not going to have your exam Monday to Friday, but should you have classes Monday to Friday, please be sure to communicate with your facilitator and also send us an email. be sure to communicate to your facilitator. And as much as possible, don't because of that. Try to also once in a while when you're not having your exam, show up in class. Let your facilitator know you. I know there's something about when your facilitator knows you, they can vouch for you. When you're very active, be active in class, such that when you're not in class today, your facilitator can say, oh, this person is not in class. Please, class rep, reach out to this person. Make yourself, if I can use the word indispensable, as much as possible. Like, make yourself noticeable that if you're not in class, they know that, oh, something is wrong. What's happening? They remember you, put yourself in people's faces. Make sure your class rep knows you, so that when you're not going to be available, you let your class rep know. Your class rep will then escalate it to us. Yes, so for your economic empowerment phase, you are going to be grouped. So you get to pick one of the 4 pathways that we've mentioned. We'll send you, once you're done with your technical class, we send you an email where you fill a form to pick one of the pathways that you want. So that way we are able to tailor your classes to the pathways that you've chosen. Okay. Are you going to get a recommendation after the letter? You're going to be certified after the training. You're going to get a certificate after the training. So after that, should you still need a recommendation letter, that's going to come based off requests. So would ask you also to show. So we don't just share recommendation letter. We only share recommendation letter. Maybe you got the request from maybe a university that you're applying for. Maybe you want a scholarship. Then would ask you to share a to validate it. So you either send a screenshot from the university, or would ask that you ask the school to send us an email for the recommendation letter. So I think I don't know if there are any other questions. Let me see. Oof.
Hi, Olabisi. Well
Yes.
done.
Yeah.
I heard as you breathed very,
Yeah.
very deeply. Well done, well done. Okay, so I think you've pretty much touched on the questions that we have. That's the unique questions that we have, right? Most of the questions are sort of like repeated. Um, but somebody asked if there are any aids given to fellows.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I don't understand what the person means by aid, because I have a question. Would the fellow also
Maybe
give me
support,
aid? I feel
financial.
like fine. I mean, the training is already subsidized. The training is already free for you. We are literally paying. Maybe Becky should please expatiate more on what you mean by aid, right? Because I know that I also spend time to say the program is free of charge. You are supposed to, if you were, if you were enrolling in a university, and I think that that's the best example for me to use. If you were enrolling in an institution of knowledge, like a higher institution, you will pay your tuition, you will take care of your feeding, you will take care of your accommodation, you will take care of everything, your writing materials. Cost, I mean, in some institutions, you pay up to the materials, the learning content, you pay for it, right? But I mean, here it's free. You are literally everything about the training is free of charge for you. Your only commitment is to come with your device and also get that to your internet. I honestly think that we have done a lot. I believe that that has responded to the person's question.
Okay, so somebody asked a question. Thank you for that blessing. They said, what happens if someone gets a job after the 6 month training? Will they still be penalized if they choose to opt out at this point?
I don't think the best word is opting out, because I think I also talked about when I was explaining in depth the 6 months, the other bits of the training. It's our joy. I mean, it's our happiness to know that the technical skills you got from the program is what helped you to, get the job, right? And you only know what you know. I mean, you got the job based off the knowledge that you have from the first 6 months, meaning you are, for lack of better word, you are still incomplete, right? I don't know. I'm not sure of the best word to use, meaning that the next 6 months is also supposed to, even if you got a job, the knowledge that you get from the next 6 months is going to be very important to make you an holistic person, right? Which is why we are not even graduation will not happen until the 1 year is over, right? So we're not only awarding you because you completed the technical phase, but we're also awarding you because you participated in the economic empowerment phase, right? With that being said, please have it at the back of your mind that the fellowship is 1 year. Even if you get a job after the 6 months of technical phase, it is your responsibility to see how you will make it work. Try to see how you, and I mentioned that the second phase is not as tedious as the first phase, right? Meaning that you can always reach out to us to say, oh, I'm sorry, I have this meeting, and it's clashing with this particular meeting. I just want to let you know. Just keep us informed, right? Again, it's our happiness and it's our joy that you got the job, but you won't use the news as a way to also back out because your program is 1 year and you see to it that you complete the 1 year. I don't know if that's clear for everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for that blessing. Okay, so somebody asked, will we ever be required to show up physically? So the program is virtual, like we mentioned, right? So all the training will happen virtually. If you're going to need to show up physically, it might be for maybe a physical meetup, right? But of course, that will be communicated well ahead of time. But the program is predominantly a virtual program. So all of your training is happening virtually and all the sessions are happening virtually. Yeah. So I hope that answers that question. Somebody asked, are we going to be giving internship letters for those of us who would love to seek it for ourselves? Yeah, so while you're in the program, if you're looking for internship opportunities and you're required to maybe bring a letter of recommendation or whatever the case may be, you can always reach out to your instructor or your class rep, and then we can see how that would play out, right? What happens if someone gets okay, I think we have this already. During application, we were required to give Kaloso Lelu says during application, we're required to give a description of our device, the laptop maker and processor. My laptop has since been stolen. Also, sorry to hear that. Is a computer fine for class, or must I get a certain device with a certain processor before class starts? You don't need to get a certain type of device, as long as your device can join classes. And well, depending on what learning track you're in, right? There's some maybe apps or software that you might need to download on your laptop. So depending on your learning track, but I feel like whatever laptop you have or computer you have is fine. Then when you get to
I
that
think
bridge,
it
you can
depends
always
on the
cross it.
device the person has.
Yeah.
I should say that, and also depending on your track. Because if you have to
Yeah.
set an
So it's dependent on your
application,
learning track. Yeah.
then that's yes. So you yourself,
Okay.
you know the device that you have. Please go ahead.
All right. Okay. Thank you, Blessing. Can we listen to the classes after the class hours instead of attending at that exact time? This is especially for those who may be occupied. So if you have a genuine reason for not attending class at a particular time, it's recorded. You can always listen to the recording, right? But you have to ensure that you have at least 95% of attendance for you to be able to graduate. So that's the condition that's tied to that. Is there a
Can I
mentorship
add
structure
that,
during the
EMC, please, can I
Okay, go ahead.
add Babat saying that if you, even when you request for permission to be absent, the fact that you're not in class, your attendance will be recorded as 0, right? It's just that it helps us to be able to, at the end of the day, understand the reason why you did not attend, and also you just know that, oh, this person did not come. But the attendance for the class, you will be marked 0. And I thought I should just mention that. You can listen to the class. I mean, very good. But just note that marked 0. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bless. Is there a mentorship structure during the program? If so, how are mentors assigned? When you get into the program, you get more information about the mentorship structure and how that looks like. My guarantor is requesting, okay, I think I already shared, Pacific, we already shared an email for your guarantor. So anybody whose guarantor is requesting maybe to reach out to us, maybe they have inquiries, they can send an email to admissions@womentexas.org and we'll be happy to provide any clarification that is required. What does the fault in the program? We've already answered this question. How do we upload the headshots? You get an email with a link for you to upload your headshots. Or you upload your headshots to maybe your Google Drive and share a link with us, a link that is easily accessible. So you set your link to anybody can view it, right? And then you share that link with us. Pretty straightforward. During the training, at what point do you consider? We've answered this. So all the default questions, we've answered them already. For internship opportunities, will it be physical or virtual? Are we likely to get we've answered this question already about the internship and what that would entail. When you say default, please clarify the program timings. Is it running from September 2025 to September 2026? Blessing, do you want to answer that?
Sorry, I didn't get that question.
Please clarify the program timing. Is it running from September 2025 to September 2026?
Yes, it's running from September 2025 to September 2026. Between August 2026 and September 2026.
All right, so Blessing said between August 2026 and September 2026, we will wrap up the classes, the fellowship for this particular class. Please can the class time be modified tonight? Buzwe, Jennifer, Chinyere, no, the class time cannot be modified tonight. What happens if an individual is unable to secure job opportunities by themselves? Won't they be defaulting in terms of agreement of MOU? No, you're not defaulting in terms of agreement of MOU if you're unable to secure an internship by yourself. How many days a week are we to attend classes? Classes run from Monday to Friday. We've already mentioned this. When is classes start in September? How long will it take for the MOU to be reviewed? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking, Sonia. Gifts are your midday done in manual. In a situation whereby someone is sick or have important things to do, we've answered this already extensively. Confirm whether we are starting in September. We are starting in September. What percentage of class are we required? We already answered this. Let me see. I understand the live classes, but some of us who are working hybrid who face customers. Okay, we already answered questions about how to balance your work and fellowship. Which day in September are we starting? You will get all of that information when you accept to join the fellowship. All of that information will be shared with you via email. What if after the 6 months I'm able to get an internship for myself? Are you hoping not to get an internship after 6 months? I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's not a criteria for whether you graduate the program or not, right? So the program is for 1 year. The first 6 months is the training. The last 6 months is where you have your sort of like an incubation, pretty much, where you get resources on how to get internships, volunteers, and all of that. We hope that you're able to at least secure internships or freelancing opportunities, right? So it does not affect, if your question is that if it will affect maybe you're graduating or getting a certificate, it doesn't affect that. So yeah, I think so far the questions are pretty much repetitive and they're questions that we have answered already. So please touch on grades and how important they are in passing the first 6 months. When you get into the program, you would know how the classes will be graded, right? In a situation where you relocate from Nigeria to another country during the second phase, will there still be penalty even though you continue virtually? Ebere, all the training is happening virtually, so even if you relocate or not, I don't really understand your question, but you won't be penalized if you're attending virtually because the program is happening virtually anyway. What happens when the person gets an admission to study in Europe and still wants to continue with the program? Can it work in terms of the distance and perhaps some differences on timeline? So this is a personal personal thing for you to answer, right? Are you going to be able to combine everything? Do you already have an admission? If you do, then you need to think about it critically if it's something you'll be able to combine. Health related, I just found out I have a minor health issue that requires a strict diet. So my question is, am I allowed to take my lunch during class period? Oh, yes, by all means, you can, as long as you're not maybe interrupting class, your mic is muted at that time. So it's fine, you can, it's a virtual class, right? If someone needs to change the name they provided during the application, perhaps due to marriage or a mistake, what steps should they take to update their name? please send an email to admissions@womentextiles.org. So you have your subject matter and then you clearly state what your request is, and then we'll be able to attend to that. So someone said, would there be breaks in between the classes? Yeah, I believe that would be your instructor's call, but typically there's usually like a break in between the classes. So it's not like you're just learning for 4 hours straight. So there will be a short break in between, maybe like a water break, stretch your legs and stuff like that. Um, can you explain the purpose of using Outlook account so that we can add you to your class? More information will be shared regarding that. At the end of the program, what certificates are we going to be issued and what certification body is it affiliated to? Iberi, I'm not sure I understand your question. How long would the classes be taking? We already answered this question. If by chance I go for a competition where I'm expected to camp for a month and time of classes clashes with the program, will this still be will this still affect my attendance even if I take permission? Okay, I mean we've answered this question, right? I feel like you are just thinking about the weirdest scenarios that can happen for you not to be able to attend class, right? Oh my God, what if this happens? What will happen? What will I do, right? Calm down, okay? Just calm down, breathe in and breathe out. Everything will be fine. You don't have to worry too much, right? So like we said, you have multiple channels of communication, right? You have class reps, you have your instructors. Please just make sure that you're informing them, right? But like Blessing said earlier, right? If you miss a class, it's already marked in as that you're absent, even if you've made the only reason why. So you taking permission is so that we understand why you were absent, and then that consideration can be made for you, right? So I hope that clarifies things. Please, can we go through the different economic phase? You'll get more information about this once you enter into the program. Would recording of this session be shared? Okay, so this session is streaming on YouTube at the moment, so you will get the recording when you go to the YouTube link. I already dropped this comment in the chat, so you can look at the chat to see my comments about this. So if you follow that YouTube link, you will get the recording. Someone on the team will also share that link right now. Aside from attending classes, there are other activities required by the program, like compulsory posting on LinkedIn. So we encourage everybody to share their stories, right? So it's just a way for you to document your journey. So it's great if you share your story on LinkedIn. It's not a compulsory thing for you to graduate. So yeah, I believe we need to wrap up this session, and I believe we've answered as many questions as we can. I have unlocked the chat. Thank you all so much for joining. There's a question here that asks about certification exams. Will this be covered by the program or at your own cost? Yes, so if you want to take certification exams, we'll share like links for you to take. So we encourage you to take certification exams, right? But
IMC,
we're not going to
sorry.
cover the costs for
IMC,
that.
can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, yeah, so sorry. I think that question is actually very, very apt. So one of the things that we also would require the fellows to do is they're going to take at least 2 to 3 surgery. So while you're taking your classes in the
No, let me
learning
see. We
track.
missed that. Can you repeat it?
Okay, so I said I think that question is actually very apt. So
Yeah.
while they are in the program, would require every fellow to take at least 2 to 3 certifications while they are in the program. So what we'll do is we would usually share links with them of certifications that they can take. The one that is free, the one that would require them asking for financial aid on Coursera. So we'll share various links with them for them to be able to take all of this certification, but very compulsory for every fellow in their learning track. They need to take at least 2 to 3 certifications, and they're going to submit. We're going to give them a link where they would upload it before the end of their program. They have to upload 2 to 3 certifications from the learning track that they've chosen. So very important. And also, from time to time, if we get vouchers, we would share. if, emphasis on if we get vouchers, but would share resources, platform on where they can take all of these certifications, the one that is free, the one that would require them applying for financial aid, would let them know, the one that comes with a cost commitment would let them know, so that if they are able to do that, fine, but that would be on them. So I think that actually answers it. So to everyone, please, it is very important. If you're going to be a fellow, you need to also, that's part of the requirements that you also need to honor.
All right, thank you for explaining that, Olabisi. Yeah, so someone is asking, are we going to be giving a different form for our guarantor to sign? No, so it's the same MOU, right? So there's a slot for you to sign, and then there's a slot for your guarantor to sign, right? So it's not a separate document, it's the same document. Yes, your mom can do this. What happens if their guarantor wants to back out? So somebody is asking, oh, the point about the certification. Yes, like Olabisi said, you are advised to take, it's not even like your advice. It's compulsory that every fellow takes at least 2 certification exams, right? So within whatever learning track you have chosen, there are usually globally recognized certification exams that you can take. So it's important that you, Olabisi, are you saying something?
Blessing.
No, no,
I
no,
just
no.
wanted to
Okay,
emphasize
blessing.
on the reason for the certificate. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, great. So the reason why you have to take an extra certificate or 2 extra certificates is because everybody's learning tech right now, right? It is the extra that you have that stands you out, right? And from the experience that we have, we realize that when people go ahead to take courses, get extra certificates, it builds your confidence. Like you are committing and committed to your growth, right? So it's very easy for you to even find job opportunities. We are not training people to add certificates and just put it under their shelves. I mean, in this regard, maybe just leave it in their emails. We want people who will be able to continue to work and upskill themselves with the certificate that you have. And having that extra certificate is giving you the opportunity to learn, from other places as well, like get certificates, helping you to build your own capacity to be job ready. Because what we are doing as an organization is to help everybody access opportunity to decent jobs. That's what we are doing. Thank you.
All right, thank you for answering that, Blessing. Lillian is asking,
That's
what
well
if we have
said.
taken a certification exam on the learning track from Coursera already before now? Will it count, or are they supposed to take another one during the fellowship program?
So when you sign on the bit of the certificate, once you come on board, you get to know that specialty sits within the instructional design team, and they always advise you clearly on what works. Because you can think that, I've taken this course. There are certain places that there's preference for you to go and take a course because you can vouch for their content, right? And there's also a level of course that they expect that you should take as well. So once you come on board, you would have an onboarding. Olabisi had mentioned that we have an onboarding within the compulsory onboarding sessions that we have. You'll be engaging with a lot of teams. You'll be speaking with the instructional design team. You'll be speaking with the women Techsters team. You'll be speaking with storytelling team. You'll be speaking with the community team. A host of team, just to with the technology support team as well. All of this is just to ensure that you are you are you are equipped. That's the best word. So yes, that's it.
Okay, thank you for that, Blessing, for emphasizing that. So I think your question, is that Ifunaya or Lillian? Somebody's asking. So it's similar to Lillian's question. So Blessing already answered that, right? So when you come on board, you meet with the instructional design team, and then they can advise on certification exams that you have taken, if you need to take others and stuff like that. Oh, somebody is asking, is WTF certificate accredited and globally recognized? Chioma, yes, your husband can be your guarantor. Blessing, do
So
you want to answer?
regardless, the WTA certificate is, how would I explain it?
Blessing, you're breaking
You
up.
So
can you
it's
hear
a
me?
diploma.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I don't know who is speaking. Okay, Blessing, yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, great. So the WT certificate is more like a diploma certificate, right? In the past, we've seen individuals, for example, we've had tons of people right now who through the data science, certificate that they got from us, used it to apply for like a master's course, right? And in some cases, are even using the learnings they got for like their thesis, right? So we've also seen a lot of people use
Hi,
the courses.
Blessing.
Can you hear me?
I don't hear Blessing anymore.
Can you hear
Um,
me?
okay, yes, you're back.
Oh, so we've also seen a lot of people with the courses that they've taken, that's with the certificate that we give at the end of the program. We've seen them use it to be able to apply for programs. We are currently in the process of, finalizing accreditation, like from the university, and the reason why we just want to accredit it is because we know that some people just say, oh, I want to do this and I don't want to go to university again afterwards. But regardless of that, we've seen people who, through the certificates that they've gotten, they've used it to apply. Some people say, oh, when they always ask you that you must have you must have a degree within this course that you are applying for. We've seen a lot of people through the program submit the certification, and then we've seen institutions reach out to us to say, oh, this person is applying for this program. Do you know this person and can you vouch for this person? And we've had tons of people, who just being a Women Techsters fellows use the opportunity to, get a master's degree and even a PhD as well. We've seen a lot of people use the program, use the certificate to apply for scholarships as well. So yes, while we are in the process of closing out on, the accreditation bits, the certificate is still very, very, very valid, and we've seen a lot of people use it. I don't know if this explains your question. If this answers the question for the person. And if you feel like, oh, if the information is not valid enough, I don't want to go to it, it's fine. Don't accept the admission. Thank you. And that's on the lighter note.
All right. Thank you, Blessing. Somebody's asked, sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Somebody's asking, what if my guarantor speaks French and is fluent in English? You think in French because you explain or MOU to your guarantor, right? So the person you need to understand what they're meaning and the MOU. So if you're fluent in French, please ensure that you explain properly to your guarantor so that they understand what they are signing, right? Before they go ahead to do that. Somebody asked that if I get pregnant and it's a difficult one, would I be kicked out of the program? So we're not kicking people out of the program. So if you're having a difficult time, you need to be able to communicate with your instructor or your class rep and also let us know. And then we can now evaluate the situation and see what concessions can be made, right? But we will not kick you out of the program except you maybe default in any way, right? So you will get an email after this session with the form, link to the form that Kolabisi already mentioned, and then with further instructions from there. So if you still have any questions, I would encourage you to listen to the recording of this session because we covered quite a bit, right? And we have answered a lot of questions. So please listen to the recording. My colleague has already sent the link to the chat. So please go back and listen to it so that you can get answers to the questions that you still have, right? Somebody asked, are outreach community programs done by participants in a particular country or all participants come together? So when you get into the program, right, all of this information will be made available when it's time. So we don't just throw you into the deep end, right? We provide all the supports that you need for you to maybe complete any phase of the program, right? So we are going to give you all the supports that you need. Somebody should please resend that YouTube link before we go. Either promise Esosa. Please help me drop that YouTube link so you can listen to the recording again. So I believe that we have sort of like done justice to your questions. Thank you all so much for joining. It has been a long info session. So yeah, expect our email, and please, I will beg, when you receive any emails, please read the emails thoroughly, right? Because most times the questions that you have already been answered in the email. So please read the emails thoroughly for whatever instructions you need to follow, right? Thank you so much. We appreciate you for joining us today. I'm excited to go on this journey with you all.